and I was brought up in Africa, Kenya. So there was a lot of different cultures that we saw basically, which was Indian culture as well as the mixed culture of Africans and even the English culture as well.
But we feel different. Why don't we show what we are? Why don't we be proud of what we are? We are at the level of that responsibility as well, because we have children. And we need to show them who we are. At least they need to be given that chance, that opportunity to understand what it is. And then it is up to them, it is their life, they choose how to live.
As parents, we draw the lines so that it's easier for the children to follow. I think that's the most important point.
I have an alternative theory. I think it's based on the shortage mentality. Now, when you are outside and in a place like UK, you have no overt Indian culture around. So it is very difficult for you to get it. And you feel that you have to grab at what you have, and there is a shortage of this available to your children. And as a consequence, you have to actively construct the culture for them.
When you talk to a child who is born and brought up here, if you don't teach her what your culture is, at least to a little extent, like 20% or so, they don't even know what it is. And when they go back, even for a holiday, they are an outsider in their own place.
I think they'll pretend to be English. They'll try their hardest to be English because they would like to fit in, but obviously their color is different, the way they look is different, and it is again a confusion in them. I'm sure it will set a confusion in their mind, thinking who they are. I mean, I look different. I'm no one like any of these who live in this country. Who am I? And someone else calls me names, saying I'm this, I'm that, but all I know is this country. I was born here, I live here, I'm brought up here.
The fact is that, while we say culture is important, etc., the fact that we are in a minority is a very definitive reason for how we are bringing up our children. If we had been in a majority, I would think that we would approach this in a different fashion.
Most Westerners would think, subcontinent culture says yes sir and yes sir for everything. But it is not really the truth. The truth is that the subcontinent culture doesn't say yes for that. There is a very famous song back home in the South India which says Yen endra kelvi kekkada vaalkaiyile, means why, a question why, if you don't ask the question, there is no life, there is no existence. So that is taught as a child, but at the same time we also are taught the culture of respect. Okay, many people think the respect as yes sir, but it is not sir. We may say yes sir in a very polite way, but in the back of my mind I completely disagree with what you are saying. And I have my own polite way of saying that to you. I'm very sorry, but even though I say yes to you, I really think it's different.
It takes an enormous effort from our point of view to bluntly say no on their face.
I would say Indian is mathematics.
Mathematics.
Basically priority to education.
I would say distinctively religious / spiritual, the mode of thinking and consciousness underlying.
Indians as a whole.
Indians as a whole as contrasted with other cultures around the world.
I believe every Indian is juggling around with the onslaught of outside influence. So in their own way, everyone is juggling, balancing.
Striving for excellence, to be honest, making themselves, you can, in slang, you can call them being pushy, but I don't know.
And I was same thing, aiming to becoming more and more better, not stopping. That we don't want to stop somewhere.
Perfectionist. Perfectionist.
This is what I
we don't want to stop with just becoming a.
It's not enough if you're good.
It's not enough. Then we feel, okay, what's the next stage? You want to go to the next stage.
Jayanti, it's not enough if you're good. You need to be the best.
Even after the best, you see, if something
I think it's
happens
fetal
there.
programming.
If you got 98%, what happened to the remaining 2?
Remaining 2.
Yeah.
What about getting 101
Yeah.
or 100?
See, the first
I
thing
try
when your daughter
hard
comes home and
to
tell mommy I
restrain-
got 99%, my reaction will be what happened to the 1%.
I've stopped doing that now that I teach medical education in the university. Now I have reformed. I've embraced the new ideas. I always ask or highlight what you've done best. I try it, just like charity begins at home, I do it at home first, which my daughter goes, when did she change?
If a local person works once, I have to work 10 times
Thanks.
to achieve that standard. That's how I feel.
To be an Indian
is to treat exotic food as standard. To live a life of values.
Follow the values so our next generation can see and follow it.
To adapt yourself and change according to what is needed.
To be an Indian is a belief in rebirth and karma.
To be an Indian, I believe, is having a rich and vibrant heritage and history.
I think it's to be a juggler, someone who balances the different forces.
To be an Indian, I'm actually not sure. Because I thought just being brown and the way that I looked was being an Indian. But when I went to India, I realised I actually didn't fit in. So when I came back to England, I realised that England was my home and I was accepted for who I was. So it was difficult to decipher what being Indian actually is for me.
Subra Jyotsnam Pulakitayaminim Subra Jyotsnam Pulakitayaminim Pula Kusumita Drumadala Sobhini Pula Kusumita Drumadala Sobhini Suhasini Suhasini Sumadhura Bhasini Sumadhura Bhasini Sufalam Varadam Mataram Sufalam Varadam Mataram Vande Mataram Vande